Hello everybody, my name is Anna Davies and I am a multi-systemic therapist and a specialist in stress and anxiety, working alongside and in conjunction with the fabulous Action for Family Carers to support them with their programme Feeling Good, Caring Well. I'm also a meditation teacher and I specialise in mindfulness, and that's what today's video is going to be about. So as you watch this, I'm going to talk you through a little bit of mindfulness, and then I'm going to give you a couple of examples to try. So I'm going to suggest that in a moment you pause the video and you get yourself into a place that feels nice and comfy. Gather some bits around you so that you know that you can spend the next 10-15 minutes feeling relaxed and comfortable and supported in the position where you are. Before we start the mindfulness meditations, I'll give you a little bit of a heads up that we're about to start so that you're able to pause and get into a position. But if you want to grab some bits and pieces that are going to support you with that, i.e. a blanket or a nice pillow or something that's going to keep you supported, depending on if you get an achy back sitting down or laying down, something to bolster you, then please go and do that now. Now today I'm going to talk to you really briefly about mindfulness for stress relief. Now mindfulness is really well practiced all over the world by many different people, and contrary to sometimes popular belief, mindfulness isn't a practice that only accompanies yoga or very spiritual people. In fact, mindfulness is just a practice to help control the mind in a way that enables us to feel lighter, to feel more able to connect with our body, and to disengage from anxious or overwhelming thoughts. So let me explain that to you just a little bit. When we are anxious and overwhelmed, we tend to be very neck up. And what I mean by that is we stay in our heads, very much so, because our thoughts and our internal world is the one we know the best, and therefore we give it a huge amount of importance. Our brain is a really clever bit of kit, and it's able to think and multitask quite a lot of the time. Now it escalates that into 1 millionth gear when we're stressed, anxious and overwhelmed. So you will know for yourself perhaps the feeling of a running commentary, of being quite happy and then having a thought pop into your head that takes you somewhere else, a real sense of feeling overwhelmed by thoughts and feelings and that running commentary of emotion and that running kind of film of thoughts. Now, because our internal world is the one we know the best, when we have an anxious or overwhelming thought, or a thought that feels very powerful, it can become quite overwhelming. And because how we think impacts how we feel emotionally, when we become engaged in our thoughts, we enable ourselves to get taken emotionally to different places. So for example, if we have a very powerful, overwhelming thought that we feel anxious, the chances are our body's then going to pick up on that. It's going to kick us into fight or flight, and we're going to have the accompanying emotions that go alongside that: uselessness, fear, worry, etc. Mindfulness is a tool that helps us notice that running commentary, that kind of playing film of thoughts that enables us to disengage from them. So what that means is seeing that film pass by, but not getting overly involved in it. So allowing ourselves to almost remove ourselves from the intensity of a thought, to lessen the impact, the emotional impact, to try and reduce our stress levels. And mindfulness is a tool to do just that. Mindfulness is about being mindfully aware of our thoughts instead of having our mind full of thoughts. So it's really about being in the moment. There's a really great illustration. You'll be able to find it online if you search mindfulness. And it's a cartoon of a man and his dog. and they're staring, looking out at a park, and the dog just has the picture of the tree in his head. He's in the moment. He's able to not think of lots and lots of different things all at once. He's able to be in the moment, appreciate the tree, and be in that moment of happiness because he's not discombobulated and overwhelmed by all the other thoughts that are coming into his brain. The man, on the other hand, is multitasking 100 thoughts at once and not able to engage with the beauty of the park and the fact that he's with his canine best friend and to feel happy. So the act of mindfulness is trying to be in the moment, to be able to clear the mind, okay? To be able to disengage from the running commentary of thought and be in the moment. Because when we're lost in running commentary of thought, it's hard to know how we're feeling right here, right now, especially as running commentary of thought tends to be engaged very much in our past experiences and our worries about the future, as opposed to how we're feeling right here, right now. Mindfulness is a practice. It really is a practice. So if you've never done mindfulness before, and we do a little bit of a practice in a moment, it's really okay if you find it difficult. It's really normal. Don't for a moment think that other people practice mindfulness and are instantly taken to this Zen-like state of emotional well-being where no thoughts interrupt their world and they're never bothered by the running commentary of thought, and they're able to stay in a kind of emotionless moment of now, because that's not the truth. It's actually a bit of hard work, and that's why mindfulness is very different to relaxation. With relaxation, we're aiming to switch off entirely, to completely decompress, to lose ourselves, maybe fall asleep. Mindfulness is different. It's a very proactive, conscious form of meditation because we're actively trying to do something. We're trying to be in the moment. So whenever you're doing any mindfulness, you're endeavouring to get to that point. It's about making your way there bit by bit at a time, and some days it'll be okay and some days it'll be hard. It's really about finding the mindfulness practice for you. Now, on the whole, most mindfulness practices involve you being completely engaged and focused on one thing, and that tends to be often very bodily or sensory involved, so focusing on sound, taste, smell, the feeling of your body, the sensation of your breathing. But it's also about becoming lost in an activity, and you might be able to think for yourself now something that you already do where you get completely lost and you don't really engage in thoughts, and by the time you know it, an hour's passed and you think, blimey, where's that time gone? People have said to me before things that make that happen for them are painting, gardening, repetitively weeding, doing things, that activities where you're just completely lost in it. If you have something like that you can already think of, then you're already doing mindfulness. Now, the chances are that you're not doing that on a daily basis, so having some additional mindful meditative practice to help you could be really positive. I'm going to take you through a really brief mindfulness technique and then a slightly longer mindfulness technique around sound. So now's the time, if you want to get yourself comfortable, to have a go at these techniques. What I'm going to ask you to do is try, if you can, to be sitting, because remember, this is not a relaxation. It might help you feel decompressed and relaxed, but the aim is not to fall asleep. Therefore, if you know that you're someone who might nod off if you lay down, sitting up is the way to go. However, if sitting up for the next kind of 10 minutes is not comfortable for you, I would suggest you lay down. But make sure you've got your head propped up and that you're nice and comfortable. Gather your bits around you, and when you're ready, press play on this video and we'll start. Okay. The first mindfulness practice we're going to do is something called the 3-minute breathing space meditation. It's a brief meditation that enables us to focus briefly on the breath and then start to give us a sense of practicing noticing our awareness of our ongoing internal thoughts, how our body feels and the environment around us. It has 3 parts: arriving, gathering, and expanding, and it's a nice brief introduction to mindfulness. So if you're ready, we'll begin. Become still wherever you are, either lying, sitting, or standing, and choose a posture to be as comfortable as possible. And then lightly close your eyes. Bring your awareness to whatever is going on for you right now. Give the weight of your body up to gravity. Allow your weight to sink into the points of contact between your body and the floor, chair, or bed, whether that's your feet, your sitting bones, your shoulders, or your back. Just noticing. What sensations are there right now? If you notice any tension or resistance to painful or unpleasant sensations, gently turn towards them. Accept them as best as you can. If you notice your mind wandering, try and take an open, compassionate, non-judgmental approach to your own experience, noticing that the mind has wandered and then bringing yourself back to the meditation. If you begin to tense around the breath, then let go a little bit with each out breath. Soften into gravity. Notice any thoughts as they arise and pass away in the mind. And see if you can let them come and go without becoming too identified with their content. Look at your thoughts, not from them. Observe them as if they were clouds in the sky. Relate to them as a flow of mental events. Remember, thoughts are not facts. Notice any feelings and emotions as they arise, and see if you can let these come and go without pushing away those that you don't like or jumping into those that you do. Include everything within your awareness with a kindly perspective. Gathering. Allow your awareness to gather around the experience of the breath in the body. Drop your awareness inside the breath and feel the different sensations in the front, back, and sides of the torso, inside the torso itself and on the surface of your tummy. Feel all of the different sensations of the breath as it flows into and out of the body. Can you rest within the flow of the breath? Let everything change moment by moment and use the breath to anchor your awareness in the present moment and the body. Every time you notice your mind has wandered, remember that you are having a magic moment of awareness, and then gently bring the mind back to the breath, deep in the body. Anchoring yourself here, if it helps, by saying to yourself, on the in-breath, I am breathing in, and on the out-breath, I am breathing out. Expanding. Gently broaden and expand your awareness to include the whole body. Feel the weight and shape of the body as it sits, stands, or lies. Feel the breath in the whole body. Imagine you are breathing in and out in all directions. 360-degree breathing. Feel the breath move into the body through the mouth. And see if you can imagine it moving down the arms and out through your fingertips, down the body and out through your toes. If you have any pain or discomfort, make sure your awareness stays open to include this with a sense of compassion. Soften tension and resistance with each breath. Cultivate acceptance for all of your experience. Befriend it. Stay like this for a few moments. And now broaden your awareness even further to become aware of sounds both inside and outside the room. Be aware of other people around you. Then imagine expanding all of your awareness outward. Imagine the whole world breathing. And now gently open your eyes and move your body. Re-engage with your awareness of the space around you. Open and close your palms, wriggle your fingers, roll your shoulders, and bring your awareness back to the current moment. Take a pause for a few moments before we begin the next mindfulness exercise. You may want to pause the video and get comfortable. The next meditation is called a mindfulness sound meditation. And this is quite a unique meditation because I'm inviting you to invite all sounds into your awareness and to focus purely on your sense of hearing. Now, wherever you are, you might find that there's interruptions or sounds you weren't expecting. And I would encourage you to allow all sounds around you to become part of your meditation. So sounds that you weren't perhaps expecting, another person or an interruption, I'd ask you to invite them into your experience so that they become less annoying and less of a distraction and more part of your meditation. So taking the next few moments to just find a posture for you that gives you a sense of comfort, yet wakefulness. At the same time becoming mindful of the various movements that you need to make to come into this posture. And as you're doing this, beginning to become aware of how this body is just naturally breathing for itself. Taking a few moments to notice where you're aware of the breath most prominently. This may be the tip of the nose, or the chest, or the belly. Just noticing where the sense of breathing seems to be the strongest. And so, as you become aware of this, breathing in and just noticing the breath coming in, and breathing out and just noticing the breath going out as it's happening moment to moment. Being aware of the breath coming in on an inhalation and going out on an exhalation. Just being aware of this simple inflow and outflow of the breath. And just letting it be, breathing in and breathing out. Just taking this part of the practice, one breath at a time. And in doing this practice, it's quite natural for the mind to wander off, thinking about this or worrying about that. When this happens, just take a moment to notice where the mind has wandered to. And maybe even just labelling it as thinking very gently and guiding awareness back to just breathing in. Just allowing for this natural inflow and outflow without any need to push the breath out or pull the breath in. And simply being aware of breathing, much like a fallen leaf can sit on the ripples of waves, or maybe the inflow and outflow of waves coming into the beach and off the beach. So too, our awareness can simply ride the natural inhalation and exhalation of the breath. Now, beginning to gently shift from the field of sensations in the body and the breath, and allowing that to fall into the background of awareness. And now in the foreground of awareness, we begin to open our ears. Bring awareness to our ears as we become aware of hearing. Sounds come in the form of pitches or tones and frequencies, even in my voice, right here. And sometimes sound will come from a sense of silence. It will rise and fall, and then go back into silence. You may have noticed that even in between the silence, there's some sounds to be found. So I'm going to ask you to imagine the sphere of your sound and hearing, like a bubble, is currently very close to your body. And I'm going to ask you to focus all your attention and all your sensations of hearing simply on the sounds that are close to your body. The in and out, the rise and fall, and the gentle sounds of your own breath. And just stay here for a moment. You might hear the sound of your breath as it enters and exits the body. You might notice the rustle of your clothes as you breathe. And just stay here for a moment, concentrating your full awareness to the sound of your own breathing. And now gently move your awareness, the bubble within which you can hear, and start to allow it to encompass the room that you're in. And see if you can listen with great attention. You might hear the tick of a clock, the natural groan of a house, a floorboard, a wall, and just notice. And if your thoughts come and go, noticing that the mind has wandered and bringing yourself back to the sound. It might help to anchor you here by saying on your in-breath, I am listening, and on the out-breath, and I am noticing. I am listening, and I am noticing. I am listening, and I am noticing. And now expand the sphere of your sound awareness outside of the room to encompass the whole building that you're in. Can you hear other people's voices or other sounds in your home? Start to allow each one to become crystal clear, each tone and each frequency, imagining like a symphony that your breath is the bass, the rhythm of this noise, and each other sound, each other tone that comes in clear as a bell and starts to build, adds to the richness of your experience. Notice and listen with intent And then begin to expand your awareness outside of your home and outside of the four walls that you're in. Expanding your awareness to listen to the sounds in the environment around you. Listening for birds, the sound of traffic, noises of other people, allowing each noise to become more and more vibrant, moment by moment. And in doing this practice, see if you can become aware of how maybe the mind can become busy with images or stories connected with the sounds. As much as possible, just noticing this and then coming back to being aware of just listening. Using your breath as the bass note, the rhythm, keeping your awareness, listening with intent, anchoring yourself here on the in-breath with I am listening and on the out-breath with I am noticing. Aware and present, noticing when the mind wanders and bringing it back to the meditation. Staying here for a few moments longer, allowing the sounds to pull and connect, disengaging from the thought, staying with your awareness of your sound and hearing sense, each tone, each frequency. And then start to bring the sphere of your sound back into your home, into the room, and back down closely and tightly surrounding you, listening again for the gentle sounds of your own breath, the sensations in your body, and the awareness of you. Stay here for just a few moments, and then when you're ready, bringing a small amount of movement to your fingers and toes, shrug your shoulders, stretch your body, and when you feel ready, open your eyes and take your own time to bring your awareness back to the now. Take a few moments to gather yourself, and then when you're ready, come back to the video for the last few minutes. Okay, I really hope you enjoyed that. There's so many arenas in which you can find some mindfulness practice for yourself. There's a really great book I'll recommend. It's called Mindfulness for Dummies. You know those yellow and black for dummies books? You can get them on Amazon. It's a really fantastic app you can download on your phone if you're tech savvy, called Insight Timer. You can also just search on YouTube and find some mindfulness relaxations and meditations for yourself. Good luck, stay healthy, stay well, and thank you for watching.